Hey everybody, welcome to the next video here. As you can see right here, I got some treasures and collectibles I want to show you that I've recently got in a trade. And we got a lot to go over here, a lot of fascinating items, very historic items, some of them military. So without further ado, let's begin. So just a little backstory here. I got these in a trade a few days ago with somebody who reached out to me. They said that they had a lot of military collectibles and antiques, just things that I like, and they wanted to make a trade for all of it. And surprisingly, they didn't want to take any cash. This gentleman, he was an older gentleman, and he wanted precious metals instead of cash. So I went ahead and I gave him a trade. I actually traded him about 10 ounces of 925 and sterling silver. So he melts down a lot of silver. I also gave him a little bit of gold-filled jewelry. So I think I traded about maybe close to $200 in value in scrap silver and gold-filled scrap. And I didn't have much money into that. I think maybe 30 or 40 bucks or something. And this is everything we traded for. So it was a great deal, and let's get to it. So first up, one of my favorite finds here was this old Zippo lighter. I'm really into old lighters. I know they can be quite collectible. And this Zippo lighter here still has the case, which is pretty amazing. It's a slim version, so it's not the full size. And it's an advertising lighter, so let's take a closer look. So this is a Komatsu lighter. I believe they do construction equipment. And this lighter here is, I think I dated it from 1976. And it's in pretty darn good condition. It does have some minor surface scratches, but let's see if it sparks. And it does have a little bit of a spark, so it probably just needs some fuel. But the fact that it has its box here is definitely adds to the value. I mean, whenever you have the box. So I know that this lighter here, they can go for a lot of money. A lot of times it depends on what the advertisement is. And I know that Komatsu started out in the US probably in the 50s or 60s, and this is from the 70s. So I guess they were kind of still getting their beginning then, so somebody might be willing to pay, I would say, possibly $100 to a couple $100 to the right person. But this alone right here pays for mostly everything I traded to the gentleman. So he gave me a great deal, and he knew he was giving me a good deal, and I always appreciate that. He said he had to just downgrade a lot of the stuff he had because he didn't have too much room anymore and he was getting older. So next up we have this cigar box, and let's see if there's anything inside. Yeah, just kidding. I knew there was stuff inside. So we got a lot here. We have a couple of lighters, nothing too valuable with these, I believe. Kind of just novelty lighters. I think there's another one down here. Another Zippo, but it looks like a modern Zippo. We have an old, looks like an old military padlock with the key. It's always good when the key's there, right? Who wants a lock without a key? Looks like an old tin here. Climax Lorlards. I believe this is a cigarette tin, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it says tobacco on the bottom, so not sure how old this is. I would guess probably 20s or 30s. We have a lot of knives in here, a lot of knives. Let's start with the small ones here. So these are a bunch of souvenir knives from Germany and Europe, because the gentleman I got these from, he actually, I think he told me he took a trip to Europe in the late 50s with his family, and he just picked a lot of these up. So all of these are from 50s era. I don't think any of this is war related. You can see they have some nice pictures on there. Made in Germany. Pictures of the villages and towns and such. Yeah, but a lot of these little souvenir knives, they don't have big value. Probably, I don't know, $10 each, maybe a little bit more, but I mean, it looks like there's around 15 or 20 of them in here, so that alone, yeah, that's at least $100 right there, and I'll probably just lot them up together and sell them as a lot. I don't think they're worth selling individually, but very cool nonetheless. Adding to those knives is what looks like an old Boy Scout knife. So here's the sheath, and here's a knife here. Wooden handle. It says Mora, Sweden. I think it says KJ or KU Ericsson. And yeah, it looks like a Boy Scout type of knife, hunting knife, maybe fish fillet or something like that. I'm not too sure the value on these, but I'm just gonna estimate it's probably in the $40 or $50 range. It does seem like it's a really nice, really good quality knife here with the metal and blade. All right, so we got a few more knives here. This guy had a lot of knives. He did not disappoint at all. So this first knife here with the yellow handle, this is Solingen. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but this is a German-made knife, probably post-war, but pre-1960, I would say. The blade looks spectacular on here, so this is probably at least a $50 knife, in my opinion. I'll have to do some more research on these. But we have another one right here. This one, definitely post-war. And this is also Solingen, roast-free. So I know that they made bayonets and like dress knives during the war as well. And this one kind of has that World War II Germany look to it, but it's not quite from that era. But this, once again, this blade looks pretty amazing also. It looks like this stuff just sat in their scabbards and sheaths for a long time. Got another Mora, Sweden blade here. Looks like another hunting, fishing type knife with a nice little scabbard. All right, on to the bigger knives here. So he wasn't sure what this knife was, but I think I know what this is. I think this is like a battlefield-made knife during the war. I can just tell by how it was put together, like, looks like it was just put together with spare parts or whatever was laying around, but I could be wrong. It has no markings. Actually, it might have some very faint markings there. Let me see if I can read that. And whatever those markings are, I just can't make them out, but it looks like probably a World War II era Bowie knife or some sort of field knife that somebody fashioned into their own piece of art. So that's very cool. Right here we have a bayonet. This one doesn't have the scabbard with it, but I believe this is a Swedish bayonet from World War II, possibly earlier. It's in pretty rough condition here, as you can see, but nonetheless, this is a nice piece. I wouldn't put a high dollar on this, maybe $40 or $50, but I will do my research about it. I could be wrong. And this right here is a beautiful 1889 Krag Jorgensen bayonet. So this is a German-made bayonet for the country of Denmark. And as you can see, it does have some wear on the handle, but the blade has that nice bluing on it still. Scabbard is a little worn. I think this is a nice looking bayonet because if it is a 1889, it looks pretty darn modern for being over 120 years old. This looks like something that would be almost mod from nowadays. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but the frog that it came with, I'm not so sure that it's actually for this bayonet. It kind of fits a little loose. It does have some writing on the back here. I don't know if that's what this, I'll have to do some research to see if this is actually for this bayonet. It does have the 45 right there. I don't know if that means 1945. Drop a comment down below if you know. All right, and we have a couple of practice dummy grenades here. So they're hollowed out. They're not real grenades, but these things they can do some damage without exploding because they are pretty darn heavy. I believe these are probably from the mid-century era, 1960s or 1970s. They're definitely not World War II. In fact, it looks like they have a date on the top. So this is 1965. And this is 1966. So I do have an eBay store, but this stuff probably I won't be able to sell it on eBay. Just a little too hazardous for shipping and for eBay's policies, most likely. So if you're interested in these, please drop a comment and maybe we can do a private PayPal transaction. Have another beat up old scabbard and frog here. I'll have to do some research to see if this is German. Research. I've been saying that a lot, but that's something I love doing. Okay, and I thought this was really interesting here. So this is a weekly magazine from World War II era, but this is not a German magazine. This is a British magazine, and it looks like they printed out different weekly parts of Mein Kampf, and all royalties on all sales will go to the British Red Cross Society. So this is very fascinating here. It's in pretty good condition too. Not sure the value on this. I'd imagine if you have the whole set, it's probably somewhat pricey. But just to all my viewers here, if you see things with swastikas German related, it is not a celebration of that ideology. In fact, the opposite, it's a celebration of the victory of the Allies, the United States, during that era. So definitely don't support this stuff, but it's always my goal to preserve history, and that's what I'm doing here. And we got a bag full of some items in here. Let's see what it is. It looks like an old bullion bag from a bank. Let me reach in and see what I can grab. Hopefully there's nothing sharp. And there is nothing sharp because I know what it is. There is a whole bunch of World War II Waterbury Company uniform buttons for the US Army. I didn't want these too badly, but he insisted I take them, and I know there's a lot of reenactors out there or collectors collecting uniforms, and sometimes they need some buttons, so I'm sure these will eventually sell. It might take some time here to sell all those. It's definitely probably about 5 pounds, but very cool. And right here, I saved the best for last, in my opinion. I wanted to open this up with you guys. So it's a big tube here. It says container M87A1. So let's open this up together. I might need 2 hands for this. Okay, I definitely needed 2 hands for this. So, I'm not entirely certain what this is yet, but just by looking at it, it looks like some sort of dummy practice round for a bazooka. And it does have some weight to it for sure. It has the word Simcoe on it. That must be the manufacturer here. Let's see what this says right here. Rocket Practice ATM7A3, I think that says, and WC 873344. As far as era, I don't think this is World War II era. I'm not even sure if they had bazookas then, but this is a really nice piece. The fact that it has its original tube that has the name of it on the top is pretty awesome also. I'm not going to say it's very rare or anything like that. I'm sure there's a lot of these out there, but it's not every day you get to see one of these. So once again, I probably can't sell this on my eBay store, but if anyone's interested, go ahead and let me know. Very cool piece for sure. So all in all, I traded about $200 in scrap silver and gold-filled jewelry for this lot here. I only had about 30 or 40 bucks in that jewelry at the time of trading it, so I think this is definitely a haul here. There's at least, I would estimate, $300 worth of items here, possibly more if I play the cards right. But once again, this is a great haul here, and I'm so happy to share this with you guys. I will be going out to this gentleman's house again when I get some more stuff to trade. And he does have some other items that we didn't have time to look for because he just has tons and tons of boxes everywhere. And he's an older gentleman, so it's not like he can, look through everything quickly. But I am looking forward to his other items, especially his watches. He has some old watches, which I'm really into. That's probably second on the list for things I look for after World War II items is vintage and antique watches. So we'll definitely go out there again and see what we can find. And thanks everybody for watching this video of my haul. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. Feel free to ask any questions about my items. And thanks for helping me preserve history.